be experiencing that I wasn't picking up on. I learned a lot. I learned about hydration. I learned about training lengths and distances. I learned about recovery because I was feeling in my own body things and I recognized that that's what I had seen in my dogs. And then I trained my body differently, and then I trained them differently, and I went, wow, that was amazing how much similar the concept was. And one of them was training distances. The amount of time to spend on the trail, and then what that did to, and how to preform peaks, you know, and how to get your peak performance and set them up for a peak, and how to keep them at a peak. Because you guys are probably like me. This was a triathlon where instead of swimming, it was biking, running, and horsemanship. That's more my speed than swimming. I'm not a very good swimmer. But, you know, some of you guys will have, you know, understand because you race numerous races through the year, and you'll have a race where your dog team is really, really on step, and you'll go, I'm peaking now, this is great. But now you have a couple of more races, so how do I hold that peak? That the first year I noticed that was the year I won the Copper Basin. That's a 12-dog limit race. I went to the Copper Basin and I finished with 11 dogs. One dog I dropped 20 miles from the finish line. So basically I finished with the full team, and I dominated the majority of the race. But the Copper Basin is in January, and it's not my main race. You know, the prize money is about $7,000, which was good, but not Iditarod. You know, and so then it was like, uh-oh, I've peaked this team. How do I keep that peak? And really, I didn't keep the peak. You know, I still was learning. I finished in the top 10. I think it was 9th place that year. But I could tell you that dog team was flat compared to the team that I had raced in Copper Basin. Same dogs, but now they were flat. And, you know, that was something that, you know, I still study and learn, but I try to peak them more during the Iditarod than, you know, 6 weeks before, for sure. Cross-country skiing, that's not unfamiliar in Norway or Sweden. And, you know, I do spend time, independent time with dogs on skis, or dogs with my skeeter belt, taking them to one-on-one, teaching lead dogs one-on-one or two. I sometimes will hook them up with a double coupler or a splitter. I prefer a splitter because I don't use a neckline very often anymore. And have them on a skeeter belt and run with them and do trail, you know, and lead dog commands with them. But you got to be careful. You know, you use your smaller dogs. If you're my size, you don't want too many big dogs tied up to you at your waist. And then training for the Ironman in Kona. That was another thing where I was challenging myself. You know, could I actually accomplish an Ironman? As it turns out, you know, yeah, the biking was good. I did well on the biking, but my problem was swimming, and I had a hard time. There's Parker teaching me to swim. I actually had to have some other people teach me to swim, but to try to finish that swim in 2.5 hours in the ocean was turned out to be an obstacle that I hadn't yet concluded with. Put peace to, I should say. So we're going to stop here. One of the problems I've had is I've lost some of my salivary glands from the cancer treatments, and so I get really dry mouthed. But we're going to stop for a few minutes and start again in just a few minutes. Give myself a break and your chance to move around, and then we'll start again, if that would be okay.